Hello students, and we are here with a new chapter, and that is about pandas, and that is in your class 12th information practices, right? So this is first chapter or the first section I'm introducing to you, and we will be doing many operations on this. And related to that, I have already uploaded few live classes where I have tried to cover up mostly all the portions which will be coming up in your class 12th exams. But anything out of it or something, you can always comment and ask me to put it across. So I'll make a video and put it across for you. Anyways, so let us begin with pandas. So when I talk about, first I will say pandas is an open source. What do you mean by open source? When I say open source, so open source is something which is easily available. You can try, you can use it anywhere. There are many platforms like Replit and maybe, like Replit is for Python usage. But if you have to use pandas specifically, maybe Jupyter Lab or, Google Colab. So there all you can use it. So that's like open source. Secondly, in your book, it is written BSD library. All right. So what do you mean by BSD? BSD stands for based built. Okay. BSD means based built for Python. That's what it means. So what do you feel? I mean, what do you say when it is written based built? So based built is something, it is like a license. And what kind of license I'm talking about? It imposes minimal restriction on the use and distribution of the software. So this is like a, no restriction stamp on pandas, right? So BSD library built for Python programming language, right? And pandas offers what? High performance. So these offer high performance. Correct? Easy to use. Obviously, it is said that Python is the easiest, and so is pandas also. So yes, easy to use. Data structures and data analysis tool. What I said, pandas is an open source BSD library built for Python programming language. Python offers high performance, easy to use data structures and data analysis tool. So now the two new terms which we have come across, first is data structure. Correct? And second, I have come across with data analysis. Okay? So we will come back to this one. Before that, I would also like to tell you something more about pandas, right? So when I said, okay, pandas is an open source BSD or BSD library, and obviously high performing, easy to use, and so and so and so. What actually is, from where pandas has been derived? So pandas has been derived, or pandas is said to be derived from the area which is called panel data, right? So it is actually said panel data systems, because PA and then DA and S is for the systems. Correct? And let me just Okay. So, who's the author of Pandas? Who did this? His name is Mr. Wes McKinney. He was the author of the Pandas library, or you can say the Pandas. Correct. So, this is one. Now, before I go ahead to your data structures and data analysis, I would like to tell you or I would like to discuss that why pandas, like what is so special about pandas. Okay, so let me just uh, okay, so now the question comes like why pandas? Correct? The question is why pandas? So first of all, it is the most popular library in the scientific Python, right? So first, it is the most popular library. Okay? All right. And it is capable of many tasks. So what are the many tasks? Okay, let us understand what are the many tasks. It can read or write in many different data formats. Okay, so it can read or write in different data formats. What do you mean by data formats? Data formats means integers. Okay, what else? Float, maybe double, and so on. Okay. Secondly, it can calculate, thirdly, it can calculate in all the possible ways the data is organized. That means across the columns, actually it should be across the rows and down the columns. Okay, so this it can do. All right, then the next part of it, the fourth one, when I talk about, it can easily select subsets of data from bulky data sets and even combine multiple data sets together, right? So it has the functionality to find and fill the missing data. All right, so what if I have to write it in an easier forms? What I can do is I can say select the subsets of big data, or you can say actually bulky data. Okay, and if I talk about, you can also say it has the functionality to find and fill the missing data. So find and fill the missing data. This was the fourth one. Okay, let's talk about the fifth one. What is the fifth one? Fifth one is it allows you to apply operations to independent groups within the data. Yes. It supports reshaping of the data into different forms. Yes. So I can say supports reshaping of the data. Correct? Okay. What is the next thing? It supports advanced time series functionalities. Yes. So you can also write that it supports time series functionality. All right. And the last one, it supports visualization, right? Using matplotlib and Seaborn libraries. So you can also write supports visualization using matplotlib. And so see, these are the few advantages I can say that pandas have over the other ones. Okay, so yes, it is the most popular. You can read write in the different forms, like different data forms, which are like integers, floats, double. It can, do the calculations across the rows, down the columns. You can select the subsets of bulky data and find and fill the missing data. It supports the reshaping. It supports the time series functionality, and it supports visualization. And that's why pandas are quite popular. Okay. Now, pandas are actually of two styles. Okay. That is series, and the other one is data frames. Okay. Now, before I tell you about series and data frames, I would like to tell you the two differences between your data analysis and data structure. So what is data structure? It is a particular way of storing and organizing data. So I can say, okay, storing and organizing data, right? And where are you doing this storing and organizing? In a computer. And why do you need it? To suit a specific purpose. And it can be accessed and work with the appropriate ways, right? So for example, if you have to store similar type of data, what do? You will use, arrays. If you have to, fix one end and, just keep on doing so, then stack data structure. So you must have read about these data structures in class 11th. Okay. Now we come to data analysis, right? What do you mean by data analysis? Actually, it refers to the process of evaluating big data sets. So what it does is evaluate big data sets, right? And for what purpose? For analytical and statistical things, right? So for or using analytical and statistical tools so as to discover useful information and conclusion to support the businesses to make decisions. So that's what is data analysis. You take out some data, you do the analysis, you take out the values to it, and then you have some conclusions to it, right? Okay, the sales is more, the sales is less, and then you decide, okay, this product can be produced more into the market or less, and so on. So these are, very high level things which we will be discussing. Let's talk about the class 12th thing, where I wanted to make you understand data structures and data analysis. Okay. So when I talk about the types of data structures pandas have, which I've already told you, one is, I will write here series, and the other one which I am writing over here is data frame. There is another type of data frame which is actually called panel, but it is obviously very high level and not in your syllabus, so we will not discuss that. So what do you mean by series? It is a one-dimensional data structure. So if I will write 1D. And what is data frame. Obviously, if it is 1D, this will be 2D. Okay. Now, what do you mean by 1D? 1D, one dimensional. So one dimensional is something like this. When I talk about, it is like you have index, you have data, and you will be writing like 1, 2, 3, 4. And here you can write A, B, C, and D. Correct? What do you mean by two-dimensional? Where you have two values. So for example, when I talk about, I will say, okay, let me take some columns. So what are these columns? A, B, and C. Correct? And in these columns, when I talk about, this is like index. So maybe your index can be 0, 1, 2, and 3, and so on. Correct? And what will you be writing? Maybe you will be writing hello, hi, maybe a nan. Nan is no value. Okay? Or maybe a dash. So see, whatever you are writing in this form, no, it has to be in quotes. Please remember this. Okay? All right. Maybe, you can again write nan. Maybe here you can write B, or so and so and so, like some values. So why it is two-dimensional? Because there are two dimensions, index and columns. And can you see it is like this, right? And here it is only one type, one dimension. And what all is the data? This all is your data. So data in a frame. What kind of a frame? Rows and columns frame. That's what it represents, right? Now, before I proceed to tell you the exact syntax of both one-dimensional and two-dimensional, I would first like to tell you the difference between the two, right? So I would like to tell you the difference. So let me just take one image. Okay. Yeah. I think it is too small for you. I'll make it big. Okay. So see, this picture is taken from your NCERT itself, the book which is actually being used. So see, when I talk about dimension, yes, it clearly mentions one dimension and two dimension. Type of data is homogeneous. What do you mean by homogeneous? Like all the elements must be of the same data type. Same data type means all the integers together, all, float values together, or strings together, and so on. Heterogeneous, the data frame object can have elements of different data types. So you can use some different values like alphabet and number, right? Or integer and string, like that. Okay. Mutability. What do you mean by mutability? Like whether you can, change them or not. That's what it means. So their elements value can change. Yes, it can. Their element values can also change. Then what is the difference? The difference is in the size of it. Like the size of the series object once created cannot change. Here the size of the data frame object once created can be changed. This is where the difference lies. Okay. If you want to add, drop the element, it internally a new series object will be created. But here it is in the existing data frame. So that's what the differences are, which will be useful for your theoretical values, right? Okay. Now, when you have to start off, when you have to write the syntax for it, the last part of our theory video. Okay. So how do you write? you will be writing the first line as import. What are we importing? Pandas as PD. What do you mean by PD? PD is the alias name, right? That is like you are using an identifier name, right? Like for example, for numpy, what it is? Import numpy as np. So np is the alias name which we are using, right? Now if I have to create a series, create an series, what is the style of writing? What will you do? Okay, so I'll show you one very simple example of it. One I will show it for series and one I will show it for pandas, data frames, right? So let me start off with the first one, that is series. So what will you write? You will write import pandas as PD. This you have written. Now for series, general notation is S or S1 or S2 like that. So this is like I'm representing a series. PD. What is the series? Series of what? Of pandas, right? We are creating a series in what? Of pandas. So that's why PD dot series. Whenever you are writing series here, S have to be capital, right? Very, very important. And then you will write whatever you have to write inside the parenthesis. So inside the parenthesis, you will write what? You will write list 1, 4, 6, 8 and so on. Right? And then what will I write? I will write print whatever I would like to do here. So print S1. Okay? So this is what you have to do to print the series. Okay. So what we'll do is I will show you this example right away in my Jupyter notebook and I will show it to you like how can we do this one, right? Okay. So when I talk about like this, what we have to do is you have to go to Jupyter notebook. Okay, so this is my notebook and I hope it is clearly visible. So same thing I'm going to write here, import pandas as PD. Okay, and what is the next thing which I did? S1 equal to what I wrote? PD dot series. I'll open the parenthesis. Inside this will be a square bracket and I will write 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. All right. And what I want now, I want you to print this S1. Okay. See, here is the run command. You just have to run this. See, this is the kind of thing. Maybe if you want to print something else, you can write here print and here you will write print my first series. All right. So here you find the indexing. Indexing means 0, 1, 2. Python has the starting range of the indexing from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are 2, 4, 6, 8 values. Right? Easy one? Okay. Now the next one, the second one which we will be talking about, that is your data frames. Right? So what was data frames basically? Yes. Okay. So you have different functions of series like sorting them and so many things. we will be covering in our live classes. So you can go through the, videos uploaded. All right. Now let me give you the basic syntax for your data frame. Okay. So what is a data frame? It is another Pandas structure, and it is actually a two-dimensional, like tabular, or a spreadsheet like labeled array. It is in the ordered form. So when I have to talk about what will I do, I will just be writing a very, very simple, a very nice and a simple example of it. Okay. So suppose I have to talk about the same thing. We will be writing the same lines. Import pandas as PD. Then you will have to write import numpy as NP. All right. And now you will have to give the data frame, right? And before I give the data frame, actually, I will have to create a dictionary, right? Create a dictionary or a value or anything, correct? So I can write it like this. For example, data frame object. So this is the normal syntax when I'm talking about. So I will say data frame objects. Okay. And when I'm writing, I will be writing here pandas or PD dot data frame. All right. So what will I write? PD dot data frame. Correct. What do you mean by data frame? D and F are capital, right? And the commands are in the continuation form. Okay. So basically, the 2D, the data structure passed to it contains the data values, right? So for example, when you create a data frame, it is like PD dot data frame. Okay. So it is, I will write it once again for you, PD dot data frame. That's what it is, right? Now, what all you can do? You can, create different forms of data frames like from dictionary and so many things, which we will be discussing again in my live classes. But for you, I can show you just one example, which you can go through it and just see it across. All right. So I will do only one example. So let's go to our Jupyter lab once again. I'll write the same line as it is. So I'll put it like this, import pandas as PD. Then I'll write import numpy as NP. And then I have, say dict1 and which is equal to, and I'll create, so dictionary is created in a particular, curly brackets. So like this, you can do it. And inside this, you will start off with say students. And in these students, I'm going to make the list of students. For example, if I talk about, it is Lipika, Neha, Arush, and maybe I'll just keep four only, Vinay. Okay. Once I have created this, I'll put a comma here and another thing. And maybe I'm going to put the marks of these students, right? So when I'm going to put the marks of the student, what I'll do is I will again put some marks. Maybe I'll write 79, 55, 67, 82. Okay. So these are the marks. Again, you will do this. And then what will you do? The next thing is maybe your favorite sport or something, whatever you want to put it across, right? So maybe I'll say sports. Okay, hockey, comma, badminton, comma, chess, and comma, cricket. All right. So this is my dictionary has been created. Okay. We put the square bracket here. All right. Always remember to close it properly. See, the dictionary has to be closed properly. Okay. Now, when you print this, you have to convert it into a data frame. And what will you do? You will write here DF. So DF stands for data frame equal to, and when I do, I will write the same command, pd dot data frame. D and F are capital, please remember. And what are we doing? We are actually passing the dictionary item, right? And what is that? That is dict1, correct? And then nothing, you just have to put df, that's all. Yeah, see this. Are you able to see this? See, students marks sports, right? Even if you write it without this, it will work. See, in fact, it is more organized this way, correct? So this is the example of a two-dimensional data, right? And initial was the example of one-dimensional data. So that's how you write your series and data frames. And you can see the live classes, and I will be uploading these theory sessions soon. Thank you.